From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this Monday's edition of For the People on an August the 28th, 2017. Our prayers for those in Texas dealing with Harvey, which is still a problem. Thousands of Texans without power, without water. No shortage of water falling from the sky, still going to be a threat. They say up to 50 inches of rain, historic proportions, according to all of the meteorologists out there, and it is a big mess out there. Lots of information about Texas today, how you can help. But first, I want to update you on a few personal things. My mother-in-law has been in the hospital now for about 72 hours. She's been sick for quite a while. She's been in a nursing home. She's had some heart attacks, COPD, which is a heck of a thing to suffer from, advanced arthritis for many, many years. But besides all those ailments, she's been a fantastic mother-in-law, fantastic mother. Couldn't have asked for anyone better. And she truly is a remarkable, strong woman. And she's fighting for her life, but it looks like it's the end of life. Hospice is stepping in. Her kidneys are failing, and I appreciate all your prayers. But it's been rough. It's been rough emotionally, spiritually, physically, all those things. It's tough. It's tough losing somebody, and I lost my dad in my early 20s suddenly, and he was my best friend, and it's hard to know that you have to say goodbye. I do have faith in believing that it's not the end, but it makes it still challenging to know that you have to say goodbye for now. And it's just a thing that all of us will experience if you've not already. I know that a large portion of our audience is a little bit older, and when you're younger and you have not attended a funeral, it's kind of hard to understand any kind of loss, because the only loss maybe that you've experienced, and that was challenging, and not to say that it's not easy losing a pet, but when you lose, and they become family. So I don't want to tell you that it's any different. For me, it was harder losing my father, and now my mother-in-law than any animal that I've had. And I love my animals, don't get me wrong. It's a different bond. And I don't want to argue with animal lovers, because I do know, again, they are members of the family, and they're part of you. And some animals are more loyal than human beings out there. Insult to injury this morning. And you just, you never know what somebody's going through on any given day in traffic. I drop my daughter off at school every day, Monday through Friday at least. She goes to school during the week. And I wanted to have breakfast this morning at the Swan Market, which is a South Tampa deal right next to the school that my daughter goes to. And for whatever reason, somebody was pulling out, and I wanted to pull in, and a lady decides she wants to lay on her horn and roll down her window and tell me how wrong I was for pulling over on the side, trying to pull in to where I was going to have breakfast, and tell me that I was wrong for what I was doing, and that I needed to go around, drop my daughter off, the whole deal, honking her horn, yelling, telling me she was going to tell the principal. I mean, and my nerves were frayed already. I didn't say anything offbeat. I was like, who are you? I mean, crazy lady, who are you? I mean, she was acting nutty. I felt bad for her son that was in the car having to listen to this. But somehow I got the feeling that she's done this before to somebody else. So I called the store. I was going to have breakfast there, and I might do that tomorrow. But anyway, told them what happened because she went ahead and called the principal of the school. I had to call the principal and explain it, what happened, and they got my take on it. Basically, the woman's very passionate about safety. And that's great. I didn't drop my daughter off in the middle of the road or any place that she would have been hurt. I was getting ready to pull in to drop her off, but she just would not stop. Relentless. I couldn't believe it. And she's one of those people that you call I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you kind of thing. And just the rudest person. And apparently she knew who I was on site. I have no idea how she knows, but knew my last name. I was shocked. Oh, you're Caitlin, you're Mr. Great. That's terrific. I'm glad you know me. How do you know me? Because I don't know you. Anyway, that was one very difficult thing. So don't ever assume in traffic what somebody might be doing or why they might be doing it. There might be an emergency. To assume what you think about another person, just don't do it. You just don't know what cross that person is bearing. And I try to be in that mindset when people do stupid things. Given the fact today, I don't think I was doing anything stupid, but this woman painted a picture or something of me doing something that I wasn't doing and assumed that I wasn't pulling into the store instead of going into the right traffic lanes to drop my daughter off, which, there's a protocol. Every school has one. And I'm full aware of that because my daughter is 14 years old and I've been dropping her off, every day that she's been going to school. Every place. So it's not that I'm not in the know. But this is real life stuff. I was debating about whether or not to share it. And some of you were like, could care less. But others, hey, this is important. Maybe you've gone through some of this stuff. But this woman was just, I don't know, just crazy. Just yelling and screaming. I'm like, what? And my nerves are already frayed. I've been in ICU with my wife, holding her hand, holding my daughter's hands. I have 3 daughters that are going to be losing their grandmother. It's just, man, emotionally, spiritually, physically, I could definitely use your prayers. And I really appreciate all of you when I post it on Facebook. I can't tell you how much it means to me. It's the world to me. And I've tried to like as many people that have commented or said something and have really said a prayer for comfort and for strength, because it takes a lot out of you emotionally. It really does, more than I really thought until today, where I just was so spent. I really did not even have the energy to, quite honestly, argue with her. And I'm a very passionate person. I mean, listening to the broadcast, I think most of you know, that are longtime listeners know that, I'm full of confidence and I have energy and enthusiasm and I'm all of those things. But man, what takes the wind out of your sails so quickly is when a family member is passing away. It's just all these other things. And wow, it's one of those things. I did need it. And you know what? The principal of the school, she said, have a cup of coffee, in your car, your office, wherever. Take a moment, compose yourself, and just relax. Calm down. It's going to be okay. And it was just a nice thing that she did, and it was soothing, just her words. She was very, very kind and said that, her thoughts and prayers for the family and for Kaylee, and it was a very, very sweet moment, and I very much appreciate it. And she, I'm sure, doesn't have time to listen to my broadcast. Many in the Bay Area where I do the radio show from are friends or family members listening to the show, because we don't have a Tampa Bay affiliate at this time. And to be honest with you, we haven't really tried to pursue one. at this time, and mainly being is that there's so many giant media companies out there. There's Beasley, there's Clear Channel, and they have their own people. So the stations that we're on are smaller stations, and our Memphis station's 50,000 watts, so that's not a tiny station that reaches 5 states, but it's controlled by a smaller corporation. And we're thrilled with the stations that we're on, and that's awesome. But because people ask us all the time, why aren't you on in Tampa? Well, we're on you can get us on the web live, forthepeopleshow.com. But that's okay. Eventually, I think it'll happen. It's just a matter of time and all that. So she said, drink some coffee. And that's a very good cup of coffee. All right, here's some updates on Texas, what's going on. Standing in, and this is a little outside of Houston, as a matter of fact, in puddles of water. Now, he's painting a picture, so this is theater of the mind, but I thought this is one of the better reports on really how it feels. Very passionate reporter, Casey Stegall. He's the Fox News reporter, reporting, again, about probably 20, 30 miles outside of Houston. What's going on there, Casey?
So this intersection here, typically at this time, would be really busy. Lots of people would be going through here to go to work, to take the kids to appointments, whatever. Because look right there, Interstate 45, this is what takes you to Houston. Northbound, southbound goes to Galveston. Look at that on top of the North 45 sign, hurricane evacuation route. But guess what? Interstate 45 northbound is covered in water. You can't even get to Houston from it. And when you walk through here, you just really get a sense of how deep the water is and how widespread this is when we are some 27 miles from Houston. And you see the pictures coming out of the metro area itself, and then all the way here, much of the same scene. Boats crashed into trees. You have a number of first responders that, of course, have just taken off here, and they are, there's one right now. See, look, the boat over there. We've got 3 of them, look. So what you're seeing is those aren't first responders, it doesn't look like. Those are members of the community, volunteers who answered the call for help because there were so many calls. Yesterday out on social media, the police department here, they said that they were getting more than 500 calls from people that were just trapped in the neighborhoods all back that way. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you're watching us in Minnesota, if you're in Iowa, or if you're in California, this is your neighborhood. All of you have a little corner here that looks just like this, with law offices, with a CVS, with a bank. And these roads are like rivers. So those boats are volunteers. And there were so many calls for help that the first responders themselves were overwhelmed. So people just started hitching up their boats to the back of their trucks, and they came, and they have been working around the clock. And the work they're doing is dangerous, by the way. Back there are cars that are totally submerged. You can't even see them. And my photojournalist earlier went out with one of these crews, and he was talking about how you can easily run aground and do some serious damage. So people here are going door to door. They're listening for signs of life. They're listening for cries for help. And they're pulling people to safety and getting them to a nearby shelter or linking them up with family. And you stand here, you see it, but it almost doesn't even register. Your mind almost can't even comprehend it. And I've covered a whole lot of disasters. The thing is, there was warning about this. We kept talking about the catastrophic rain potential here, but all of the people that we've talked to say this water came up so fast, and it happened in the overnight hours. So while they were sleeping, they woke up to water rushing into their homes, and they had only a few minutes to grab what they could and get out. Stop and think about that for a second. If that happened to you, what would you grab? What would you do? And so it is just overwhelming because you see so much suffering, but you see people pulling together and helping thy neighbor, and that is pretty powerful to watch.
Casey Stegall reporting for Fox News. As I told you